I was just going to say, I have a motion to adjourn from executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Sure. Okay, second.
All right. All right, we are
Who's that?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting of the Oxford City Council to order. Ms. Barber, will you please call the roll?
Ms. French?
Here.
Ms. Ornelas?
Here.
Mr. Snavely?
Here.
Mr. Vinch?
Here.
Mr. Bracken?
Here.
Ms. Franklin?
Here.
Mayor Smith?
Here. All right, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. French, seconded by Mr. Savely. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. We will start with public participation, and we will do some appointments to boards and commissions. May I have the motion?
Yes, I would like to move to nominate Jim Squants to the Police Community Relations Commission and to nominate Becky Mathers to the Environmental Commission for a term expiring in June 2029, and to appoint Barbara Smith to the Environmental Commission for a term ending in June 2026.
Second.
Second by Mr. Snavely. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. We will move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address council about items that are not on the agenda, please come forward, and we will give you 5 minutes, and you must state your name and address for the record. All right. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. French, second by Mr. Snavely. Are there any items to be removed tonight? All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. All right, we have but one resolution tonight, and it is always a popular one. So, Ms. Barber, will you please read our first resolution?
A resolution authorizing the city manager to waive parking meter fees throughout the city from 9 a.m. on Monday, December 15th, 2025, until 8 p.m. on Saturday, January 10th, 2026. The 2-hour and 11-hour restrictions for parking meters shall remain in effect.
All right, may I have a
Move
motion to
adoption.
adopt? All right, Mr. Snavely, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. French. All right, Lieutenant Robinson.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I wish I had my Santa Claus hat to deliver this gift to the city, but apparently the chief hid it from me before he left. This resolution is very similar to the one last year, where we extended the hours or extended the days on the mayor's request last year, so this will be free parking uptown. And all the meters beginning December 15th at 9, ending on January 10th at 8. Just would point out that the time limits at the meters still exist. So if you're uptown at one of the meters, it's a 2-hour meter, don't stay longer than 2. Turn that over so other people can use it. And then the 10-hour meters throughout the rest of the city, those will be 11-hour meters. So just make sure we turn those meters over.
All right, sounds great. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance, or this resolution before council? All right, seeing none, any council discussion?
I just think this is a really good idea for our uptown businesses, and I hope that the people in town take advantage of that opportunity and make sure that they go to the businesses uptown who have just lost or about to lose most of their clientele. And so let's go out and support our local businesses.
Agreed.
And then I'll also ask, I think this is the second year, maybe the third, there are no longer any red bags over the meters, right? So people have to remember not to pay. Will it accept?
It won't accept credit cards. I don't know about the coin mechanism. if
Okay.
those returns
There's a
back or not.
message on
But
there.
there is a message.
But there's a
They'll put
message.
on it.
Great.
All of our smart meters
Sure.
will have that message.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We will move on to ordinances. I think we have one first reading. Ms. Barber, you may read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 3783, supplemental budget ordinance number 9, to make supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2025.
All right, I will turn that over to our
Good
finance
evening, Mayor and
director.
councilors. My first item tonight is a first reading of supplemental appropriation ordinance number 9. These adjustments include our annual and year-end transfers to the capital funds to help the projects in 2026. Included in our, I'm sorry, I lost my place. Our projects in the capital improvement plan for 2026. The revenue estimates for 2025 were exceeded, and so we will transfer the additional funds to the capital projects. Budgeted expenses are also expected to come in under budget, and those savings will be transferred as well. As anticipated, the hotel tax fund brought in more revenue than expected, and the commitment to Enjoy Oxford has been satisfied. Therefore, the additional funds will be transferred to the Economic Development Fund. The Water Capital Improvement Fund revenue and expense must be lowered, as the project for the water softening will not occur until 2026. Our auditors, it's kind of, we guesstimate when these grant funds are gonna come in. The state auditors, do not like for us to leave them in our budget if they're not gonna continue in the current year. So we make that reduction when we know that it's not coming this year, it's gonna come in next year. The wastewater improvement fund revenue and expense must be lowered, as the project funding for the biotower media replacement will not take place this year. The capital improvement fund revenue and expense must be lowered for the EV charging station. This project will likely not take place in 2025. However, if it does happen, the funding from ODOT will be released to the contractor directly. So we're just the host of the grant, but it will go directly to the contractor. The capital improvement fund revenue and expense must be lowered for the Locust Street sidewalk replacement. ODOT funding was paid partially directly to the contractor as well. The capital improvement fund expense must be lowered for the skate park replacement, as this was originally budgeted this year with funding being raised or by grant funds, but this will now take place in 2026. The general fund appropriation for the Oxford Cemetery needs to be slightly increased, as the anticipated concrete pours for headstones exceeded the 2025 budget. The general fund appropriation and the wastewater CBC funds appropriations need to be increased for the construction of a solar project at the wastewater treatment plant. $1.8 million will come from the general fund balance, while $1 million will be transferred from the CBC funds fund balances collectively. And that's all I have for supplemental number 9.
All right, fantastic. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance before council? All right, seeing none. Questions?
Yeah, so I'm forgetting the specifics of the legislation, but we had written that excess revenue would eventually, from the hotel tax, go into the housing trust fund, but I don't remember the exact numbers. Do we know how close it was to giving us some extra revenue in that fund?
That was actually the short-term rental tax does go directly to the.
No, I know that, but I believe we had legislation that also addressed excess. Am I forgetting everything?
That was brought up in discussion, but we didn't end up doing it because we have our obligation to Miami for the Economic Development Agreement as part of the fire levy. And so this was one of those efforts to show our annual investment in economic development activities. And so we stuck with the affordable housing coming from the short-term rental, and the overage from Enjoy Oxford went into the Economic Development Fund.
So that sounds familiar, except I thought we had another. Am I crazy? Does anybody else recall?
Just, it's not remembered fully. I thought you were going to comment on it, and I think that's what we decided we would do. That
I
doesn't
wish-
mean that that's what we have to do next year.
Yes, but I also thought if that was the case, I came away from that sound, I'm not recalling exactly, obviously, but I believe there was revenue, extra revenue going towards housing in one way or another.
And
Am
we
I-
can go back and look at that meeting, but
It's probably my fault,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I remember not being disappointed because I thought we had another means of getting there, so.
Well, and I think we had a resolution that defined it too. We can look at that again.
Thank you.
All right.
Fortunately, it's first reading.
It is. We'll see this again on the 17th. All right, we have one second reading. Ms. Barber, you may read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 3783, supplemental budget ordinance number 8, to make supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2025.
Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Ms. French, second by Mr. Snavely, and we will come back to Heidi for our synopsis.
My second item for tonight, for second reading, is supplemental number 8. The only change was the actual formatting of the ordinance and to include the transfers in and out. I had left that off the first ordinance, but the budgeted numbers did not change. And just to recap, these changes are needed to balance the revenue and expenditure and certify with the county that our available resources do not exceed our budgeted expenditures. Those, the Oats Trail, as well as the fire levy fund, those things were, well, the fire levy fund was new this year. And again, we have to guess with the Oats Trail, what's coming in, what's going out. So we have to make sure that we have enough resources to cover the budgeted expenses that we have. The last one was to reduce the return advance to ensure the fund balance in the Oats Trail was within our contractual commitment. Instead of returning in December and making that certifiable to the county as a negative, we chose to instead leave it in the capital improvement fund for fund balance instead of advancing to the capital improvement fund in 2026. And then all advanced money will be returned back to the general fund in 2026.
Okay. Anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance before council? All right, seeing none, any council questions or discussion? All right, Ms. Barber, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ornelas?
Yes.
Mr. Snavely?
Yes.
Mr. Vinch?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely? Mayor Smith, sorry. This is going to be a habit, sorry.
Yes. All right, that ordinance is adopted. We will now move on to announcements, communications. I'll start with City Manager Allen.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Let me just say a few things about our wastewater treatment plant solar array project. Heidi, our finance director, addressed that in the supplemental appropriation number 9. As she mentioned, we have an appropriation of $2.8 million out of the wastewater improvement fund, which is $332, and we're financing that with $1.8 million from our general fund. So we're transferring $1.8 million from the general fund, and then we're also transferring $1 million from the capacity benefit funds, the wastewater capacity benefit funds. There are 4 of those, one for each sector, northeast, north-south, so on and so forth. And we're, like I said, we're going to transfer $1 million out, and so that'll give us our $2.8 million. I'll have more information for you, hopefully at the next meeting. We're hoping to utilize the federal investment tax credits for this project, and our plan is to present to City Council that we will pay back this loan basically from the general fund and the wastewater capacity benefit funds over time with the money that we save on our electric bill at the wastewater treatment plant. This is similar to how the city financed the municipal parking garage years ago. It was paid back over time with no interest, and this is the plan that we have for our wastewater treatment plant solar array project. So we've scored the top 2 companies that submitted proposals, and hopefully we will have a resolution authorizing me to sign a contract at the next council meeting. So, like I said, we want to utilize these investment tax credits, and so we'll have more information for you at the next meeting. The payback could be 8 years on this project, so it's an exciting one, and also it'll reduce our carbon footprint. So, many of our electric aggregation customers got letters from Dynegy basically saying, welcome back. So as you know, earlier we joined SOPEC. They're now our electric aggregator. And so there's probably going to be a month when our electric aggregation customers are going to be back on Dynegy's standard service offer, which is slightly higher. It's basically, let me find my place here, 10.2 cents per kilowatt hour. That'll probably be for 1 month. And but you'll be receiving, in fact, I received mine today, a letter from SOPEC, your opt-out letter. This is similar to the program when we were the electric aggregator of the city, but now SOPEC is our electric aggregator. And so they're sending out letters. And of course, if you get one of those letters, it means you're in our electric aggregation program. You don't have to do anything. But if you don't want to be in it, then you need to opt out. And it explains how you will opt out in this letter. So I just wanted to make sure that the public understands that probably for 1 month, they're going to be back on Dynegy's standard service offer. And, so that's important to know. But the rate that we have with SOPEC will be 9.114 cents per kilowatt hour. And of course, it's going to be renewable energy. Yes.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Letters have already gone out?
It goes out with your December billing, so it depends on when they read your meter. And, but I think SOPEC has sent the letters out to all the people that are on our electric aggregation program, but the letter that you would get from Dynegy would depend on when they read your meter in December.
I just know the history of these letters when we're changing.
Yes.
Confuses the public immensely no matter what we do.
Yeah.
If there's any chance we can get ahead of that by going to social media, because that's where it's going to end up.
It's on our
anyway.
webpage now. A lot
Can
of
we
information.
also make a post on Oxford Talk or something else? Or I could do it myself and direct them to, I take from the website and put it there
Yeah,
if you guys
you
like.
can do that. Yeah, because we want to make sure people understand what's going on. I apologize for the snafu, but, we did change from the city being the aggregator to SOPEC. We joined SOPEC because we wanted to be part of a larger purchasing group. And your opt-out letter will basically tell you that, I think it's in May, that we're going to get pricing again. Because we went out for pricing as just a small group. But if we have this basically 5-month contract, we'll be able to join SOPEC's other customers. And so that should result in a better pricing for us. But as we all know, electric rates are going up. I mean, we started out our electric aggregation program over 10 years ago, and it was much lower than what it is now. You read the newspaper as well as I do. It's data centers, it's the fact that they're closing coal-fired plants, so on and so forth. But, I think we still have a very, very good program. I think joining SOPEC was a good thing to do. Council made that decision last summer. We have the ability to participate in some of their other programs too. But I want to make sure that the residents know that there's going to be at least 1 month where you're going to be on Dynegy's standard service offer, but you'll be getting a letter that has the City of Oxford, it has SOPEC, and it also has AEP, because they're going to be the provider for our energy.
So
And
Dynegy is Duke?
well, right now, if you
It's
remember,
very confusing.
it is very confusing. Energy Harbor was our provider when we signed that contract. Energy Harbor basically was purchased by a subsidiary of Vistra, which is Dynegy.
Okay.
Vistra is a Fortune 500 company. They're the largest electric generator, I believe, in the U.S. as Fortune 500 company. But, anyway, for that 1 month, you're going to be on Dynegy's program, which is owned by Vistra. And then you'll be getting a letter from SOPEC, an opt-out letter, and you don't need to do anything because you'll be right back on our program. But you're going to have that 1 month where you're going to be on Duke's standard service offer.
Yeah, because a number of customers have gotten a message from Duke,
Yes.
some texts and some letters. And I've already gotten several calls about it, so Jason's right, it's very confusing.
It is, and I
if we could
apologize for
put
that.
something on Oxford Talk for those who worry about it,
Yeah.
that's something on Facebook.
We've taken a number of phone calls
Yeah,
at City
probably.
Hall. We've tried to explain it to people, so, once again, we apologize for that.
We'll post it on the city's Facebook page, the city Facebook administration, then I would encourage others to share it out to Oxford.
Yeah, so get the message out.
Yep.
Yes, Jim?
Yes, I have a question about the solarization of the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes.
You said that you hope to have a contract before the next council meeting?
To present to council
So
a
as I-
resolution to authorize the city manager to sign a contract, yes.
So as I understand the tax credits, which are expiring at the end of the year, the solar array would have to be in place? You have
Well,
to Put in
there's,
operation by the end of the year before you can be eligible for the tax credit?
the actual date is July. And,
Oh.
but if we can spend 5% before the end of the year, we can benefit from that as well. So there are some deadlines, and that's why we're rushing this project
Yeah.
to take advantage of the investment tax credits. The companies that we have discussed, interviewed, are aware of that and are aware of our desire to take advantage of those. I mean, it's a 30% investment tax credit.
Yes,
So if you're
right.
looking at $2.8 million, that's fairly significant.
And so you haven't run across the problem of contractors saying, we're too busy, we have too much work, we can't do this for you?
No,
Okay.
no. This will be a project that'll take a year at least to build. But, if they can start out with a 5% investment, engineering, possibly a purchase order for the modules, we can meet that. But they're well aware of it. That's one of our prime questions to these companies. How will you help us take advantage of the investment tax credits?
Can I
Any
ask
other questions?
One more on that, sorry.
Yeah.
And you might not have it offhand, but you said the return on investment might be 8 years. The life of the panels is,
Easily 30 years.
I wanted the public to hear that.
Yeah, and the panels that the two companies that we've interviewed are manufactured in Ohio. First Solar is the company, and I believe they're out of Perrysburg, but they also have a second manufacturing plant. And then they also have inverters, Solectra, I think is the name of the company, and they're manufactured in the U.S. So, they're well aware of the domestic content requirements. We're excited about the project and happy to bring it to you, bring it forth. And the last thing I wanted to comment on is that, well, we all know we had snow last night, and it exceeded our 3 inches. And we notified the public through Nixle and on our website. And I want to thank Mike's team, Service Department and Engineering, and I also want to thank Jessica's team, city management team, because a lot of folks have worked on this project and they put it in action today. And I will say, when I drove around, a lot more of the sidewalks have been cleared than in years past. So I also want to thank the community, those that did clear the sidewalks, for their effort, because as we all know, we wanted to do a better job, and I think we did. Now, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we're going to have crews going around and looking at those sidewalks on the snow routes in US 27 north and south who didn't do their sidewalks for whatever reason, and we're going to be sending our contractor out to clear those. And of course, it'll be difficult because it'll be frozen and some of them packed down. But once we clear it, they'll be getting an invoice from the city, and they'll have an opportunity to pay that invoice, probably 30 days. And then if they don't pay that, we will be placing that on their property taxes as an assessment. So, I think this is a good program. We're learning as we're doing. This is a brand-new program for the city, but I do want to thank my staff and the public for the great job that they did. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
I have a question. Is there a possibility, since we just began this program, that there may be some type of a grace period offered?
It's not in the ordinance, it's not in our program, but, we were giving them 24 hours after the snowfall. And, I was asleep, so I don't know when it quit. Now, I did get up several times and notice that it was still snowing. But anyway, the clock started ticking at 7 a.m. this morning. So 7 a.m. tomorrow is when we go around and assess which sidewalks haven't been cleared. So they could still do it this evening, do it tomorrow early in the morning. But right now, I'd have to say no, there's no grace period built in it.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Dreisbach?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. Lieutenant Robinson? Ms. Reinhardt? Chief Deathridge? All right. Mr. Smith?
Just real quick, final reminder for the Holiday Fest Uptown Parks this weekend on Saturday, 4:30 PM to 8:30 PM. So encourage you all to join us. Mayor Smith, myself, and Santa will be lighting the lights uptown at 5:30. So hope to see you there.
5:30, okay.
Mr. Perry?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jessica? Ms. Barber?
Nothing.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. Mr. Snavely?
I would like to congratulate Mike Dreisbach and his people for the great job that you did on the streets. I've seen news reports from other big cities that have TVs reports, and they show streets that are just a mess right now. And we had more snow than at least some of them, and your team does a great job. They get out quickly enough, and they do a superb job, so congratulations. Please pass along, yeah. The other question, the comment I had about that is on the snow routes.
Yes.
Cars are supposed to be not parked on snow routes, and yet many were. And I saw that the snowplows had to go around them. Are we going to be ticketing or notifying them or otherwise? I mean, I would have towed them myself, but otherwise, they're gonna think it doesn't matter and it's an unenforced law.
Jeff, you want to address that for me? Because we discussed it the other afternoon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, so on a typical snowfall, when it's significant, we declare a snow emergency. We will work with Mike Dreisbach's crew. And when they hit a point where it's not safe for them to plow with the amount of snow on the ground, I know there's a level when it hits a certain level by the signage, but it becomes very difficult for us to get out and do that time and time again. We don't have the space to put all those cars in place. So when we do it, it's usually for a significant event. So we'll work with Mr. Dreisbach's crew, and when it becomes unsafe, we will move forward and do that. Secondly, I did brief the city manager on this. I've asked our parking division to be proactive about this with us going into J-term and winter break, that our parking division on the 15th, when everybody should be out of town, is going to go around and survey all the snow routes for any cars that are parked. We'll do our digital documentation of cars that are parked there. 72 hours later, we're going to come back, and then any cars that have not moved in that time frame, we're going to try to reach them that we cited for the 72-hour, but we're going to try to reach them and tell them, hey, your car needs to be moved. If it is still here when we get, a week or two later, we're going to proactively tow those for the 72-hour violation, just because we want the cars off the street.
Yeah.
When it catches us and we've got 600 cars that we have to tow, that is extremely, extremely difficult. We can handle about 25 cars in our lot right now. So if we have to do much more than that, we don't have anywhere to put them. And we end up impeding on his operations down at the garage.
Would it help if council enacted a ticket policy for those? Because it seems like if somebody has their car out front and they see it doesn't get towed and it doesn't get ticketed and they go, why do I need to bother with it? That's,
I think those things are on the books already. I know our parking was out,
Okay.
busy ticketing cars
Okay,
today on
good.
things.
Thank you.
But from a workflow standpoint, I don't know that today was the day to tow
I understand.
that many cars.
Yeah.
So
But fortunately, you can see which ones still have snow on the windshield and.
we do. And then, like I said, we're gonna be proactive about it, right after the students leave, just to
Okay.
try to take that on. We do the same thing with, other closures when we've got parking. I know there's a big event, in an uptown area. We will come in and call people before we actually get the tow trucks. Say, hey, we're ticketing your car. If you don't want the tow bill on it, come get it now. So we do that for any time we've got a closure
Very
or something on the
considerate,
street,
yeah.
so,
Thank you.
no problem.
That's it.
All right. Mr. Mitch?
Given that this is my first time appearing at a council meeting, I want to make sure that I don't abuse this privilege that I have at the end of every meeting to speak. So I'll make it short and sweet, but for, right now, what I want to do is express my gratitude to the citizens of Oxford for electing me. It's a real privilege to be up here with the rest of the council members. And as I've said before, the trust from the public that I have is my greatest asset, and I cannot see that fail. And so I encourage the public, if they think that I'm not doing the job, or they have input, or they want me to do something better or different, to contact me, and I will address it with them immediately.
Madam Vice Mayor?
Yeah, that was really well said. Yeah, I'm very excited to be kicking off this term as vice mayor. I'm humbled not only by the public doesn't pick vice mayor, but happy to be back, but then humbled by the trust of my colleagues to be in this position, so thank you all. I'm very excited for Holiday Fest, but I will be very excited in spirit since I'm going home for my mom's 70th birthday. So happy birthday to my mom. And then also just again, a shout out to our streets crew for the amazing work. I saw plows out last night before the snow even really started. It was incredible. And then if you have not signed up for Nixle, please do. It was so helpful to get a text message this morning being like, hey buddy, that's 3 inches of snow. Go out there and shovel your sidewalk. And when I told my spouse that was how I knew that we had to go shovel our sidewalk, he said, wow, maybe I should sign up for Nixle. And I said, yes, please. So yeah, sign up for Nixle is not just about shoveling your sidewalk. It's about if we have any sort of road closures, hazards, weather warnings, all of the above. It's a really helpful resource to communicate to the city and its residents, and then thank you to city staff for posting on the website as well. So just really, I'm very proud of how proactive our city is to try to keep everybody safe with winter weather. So thank you.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes, so I also want to talk about the snow removal. It was really wonderful to see so many people having cleared their sidewalk. And what was also wonderful is in my neighborhood, there was a gentleman named Tim who posted, hey, if anyone needs help clearing their sidewalk or can't do it for some reason, please let me know. I'm happy to do it. And you know, I know people have helped their neighbors. Sometimes it's when people ask, sometimes they just go out and do it and the neighbor comes home or wakes up surprised, and I want to encourage more of that. I know there's some consternation about this because it hasn't been enforced for a while. I do want to thank Councillor Prithridge for pushing this. This was something he said he wanted to do when he ran, I think, his first term, and thank you for staff for being so responsive to that. But cultural change is hard. And it doesn't come without some discomfort, but I encourage people to stay the course. Having grown up in Toronto, you know, my parents immigrated there. This is just something we did, and I didn't know as a kid, you know, that there was going to be a fine if they didn't do it or their taxes would be assessed. It's just something that we grew up doing, and so please stay the course. It makes for a wonderful community. It was just so nice to see so many clear sidewalks that people were walking on today. So good job, Oxford.
Yeah, just to add to all of that, part of the impetus for why we did this is because we had children in the streets because the sidewalks weren't navigable previously. And we don't want that. So even though it might be hard on some people, hopefully we can get to where you were speaking of and everything becomes a little easier and people can walk to work, walk to school, and do it safely. Other than that, good.
Mr. Ellis?
I too want to thank the city of Oxford for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share with you over the next 4 years the work that I think probably all of us on this council have in mind to continue to make Oxford the city we all enjoy living. And I just want to say that over this Thanksgiving weekend, I posted something on my council page about thinking about thankfulness and being thankful, but also having a lot of gratitude, to have your trust. And like Jim said, reach out to me anytime you have a question, if there's something you think, as I talked about on my campaign, that you'd like me to take a look at, or maybe you have a question about a decision I made, please contact me. My new city email address is now available. And so thanks to my neighborhood for stepping up and shoveling. I was out there with y'all getting my daily exercise. So have a safe week and watch your steps out there because there is black ice.
All right, I'm going to pile on to the streets department. I work with people that come in from vastly out of town, Goshen, Fairfield, and they had nothing but good things to say about us. They knew once they got to town it'd be great, but I heard 27 was a mess this morning. So anyway, I too, thanks to everybody that shoveled their sidewalk. I mean, I saw a sidewalk shoveled today that I've never seen cleared before. Still some out there that aren't, but it was really great. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Ms. French, second by Mr. Snavely. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
May all your meetings be as brief.
So now I have to review what we passed
Yeah,
before.
right.
So was this on council or was it in the housing?
No, I mean, everything has to go through council.
Okay.
This was something that didn't originate in housing, it originated here.
Amber,
with
was
me.
it Tim
Basically, I
Holden?
said we need
No,
to
it's
have
in Pike and
housing.
Holden.
And we're gonna have this hotel which relates to
Yeah,
housing.
that's a fair
We
point.
put some of that towards housing trust fund. And what I thought I remember passing was that we had obligation to the economic